Why don't you explain to our viewers what this lovely shiny stuff is?
So we'll go with this vessel right here. This is a fermentation vessel. It's a 30-barrel tank, which means we just have to brew one time on our 30-barrel system to achieve our volume that we need. The conical bottom allows us to collect all the trub and resin and or hop residues and things like that, collect it down at the bottom. It also allows us to reharvest our yeast. So this is the primary tank. This is where beer is actually made. The brew stand, all I do is I create wort. It's a sugar-water mixture, and the yeast takes over from there, and that's when it starts to become beer. So I do, like Kyle said, I don't really do all that much hard work. The yeast does all the hard work for me. But usually it'll spend about a week and a half in there going through its fermentation cycle, and it creates a lot of alcohol and CO2. Now we blow off the CO2. We want to keep the alcohol. It's kind of the part that we enjoy. And then after that, we'll cold crash it at 34 degrees. And from there, we can filter it and take it out and keg it.
Do you guys filter all your beers then?
At this moment, yes.
Okay.
Well, we will be. Like I said, I broke the filter.
Right, of course.
But
sans broken filter.
Sans broken filter,
Yeah.
yes. We will be filtering all of our beers. Clarity.
You're gonna have two filters in case you break the next one.
I got to talk to Boss Man about that. That one cost us a pretty penny.
Yeah.
But no, in British beer, clarity and lacing on the beer are the two really important things to have.
Okay.
Cloudy beer is not acceptable. Lacing shows the sign of a quality beer. So we try to achieve both of those things.
Okay. And lacing, this is what you're talking about.
Lacing right here. So you see the foam on the side of the glass, and it kind of hangs on and goes down. That is the sign of two things: one, very clean glass, and two, a good beer. And actually, if you ask, not even in the UK, if you ask most Americans, if you have them drink a beer and it's got lacing like this, they'll say, oh, that's a good beer, that's a quality beer, it's got to be a craft beer. So lacing is extremely important to beer, just as an afterthought. When you're looking at your glass afterwards and you see that.
Right.
The British like to say it tells the story of your pint.
In some beers, you can actually see how big your sips are.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of cool.
Like I said, it tells the story of your pint. So if you've had a bad day, you know, because you don't have that many lacing, that many layers.
You've only got 3 rings instead of 6.
Or in Stu's case, 1.
Right.
I've seen you chug a beer.
Well, cool, man. I remember when I first came in here earlier today. Wasn't the first time I was here.
So long ago, I feel like it's been longer than that.
It's been a little while, like 20, 30 minutes at least. You guys have beer engines.
Yes, we do.
That is super cool and not that usual for a bar.
Well, because when you go to the UK, if you walk into a pub, most of what you'll see will be beer engines, hand pumps. And we want to focus on cask-conditioned ale. We feel like right now cask-conditioned ale is really only used for special events. And
could you just explain to those that may not know what cask-conditioned ale is?
So with cask-conditioned ale, what we'll do is we'll take a finished product and we'll pour it into a container like this. It's just lost my microphone.
You broke that too, huh?
Oh, you know, I gotta break things, dude. That's what I do. I passed it off to my assistant, but I'm harkening back to the old days. But it's just a stainless steel, basically keg with 2 open ports. This is the bung. The keystone right here at the front is where we'll tap it.
Right.
So we'll plug this part up, and right now we're using priming sugar. As we grow in production, we'll be able to do fresh wort. So we'll just take fresh wort, just out of a batch, pitch a little bit into here, put the finished beer on top. The yeast that's still in suspension will go through a secondary fermentation once we plug this up. So it'll create more CO2, and it'll actually naturally carbonate the cask. So what you get is, after 2 weeks of naturally carbonating, you get this nice velvety, lacy characteristic that just kind of dances on your tongue. And
that's going to add flavor to the beer as well, right?
It does, and it changes over time. The cask is a living product. It's for homebrewers. It's a bottle conditioned beer.
Right.
That does change over time. So from day 1 to day 3, which by day 3 you can't serve the cask anymore. You have to get rid of it.
Right.
Because otherwise it's stale and it's oxidized and it's lost all carbonation and it's no good anymore. But from day 1 to day 3, the carbonation will go down, the flavor profile will go up, the beer just ages rapidly, and it's a fantastic experience to start. If you can do day 1 to day 3, just 1 pint a day, you'll notice.
So what you're saying
is
that you want people to come in and drink beer every day so that they can witness the evolution of your beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sounds lovely.
You know, and so by adding the cask engines up in the front, right now we're just doing once a week cask releases. We want to stop that. We want to produce beer full time in cask.
Nice.
Cask is fun to make, and we've actually got a whole cold room dedicated as soon as it gets hooked up to cask.
Something other breweries don't do.
Well, like like
they might do it for a festival or something.
It's a special thing, and they'll throw a whole bunch of stuff in there. With our casks, all you'll get in there is beer and occasionally dry hops.
You're not gonna throw coffee or hops or.
Well, we'll throw hops in there,
like,
but we won't throw like
chocolate.
coffees or avocados or aardvarks or whatever
No
anybody else
aardvarks.
is throwing. Yeah, no aardvarks. Those guys got weird noses, and it's really hard to shove them in a cask.
You sure? I mean, because they're kind of.
Well, I mean, the nose would go in right there, but I don't know what we would do with the rest of the aardvark. But no,
I want an aardvark beer now. I mean, come on.
Talk to Stu. We'll see if we can make it happen for you.
I'm
Be a special.
curious as to where you're gonna source your aardvarks from.
You know, I'm pretty sure I got a guy who knows a guy. I don't want to reveal any sources. I'm mic'd right now.
No,
I already feel like a narc.
Your guy's got to
yeah.
stay in the background.
Yeah. But no, it's a really cool experience, and it's an authentic English experience that we want to bring here. We want to share with the Triangle area, and it's something that not everybody is specializing in.
Right.
We see a lot of breweries go and they're kind of the Wild West, and we want to be focused. We want to have direction. We want to create a cool experience.
Not all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, you won't find anything other than, like I said, beer and hops in our cask. We want to make sure that it's a consistent product. It's a good product that passes on from person to person every time you come in.
Cool. And so now that you've got the engines installed, how long until you start?
Probably be another month. We're going to try to. We've got a couple of casks in the back. We've got a few more hardware pieces to put in there. We've got a couple of casks in the back we can hook up.
So probably about the time this is airing.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're rapidly ramping production. So we're going to start going from once a week to twice a week almost.
So that's not a half barrel.
No, this is 12 gallons.
So that's just under a half barrel.
Yes.
So how many? So if you've got the 30 barrel tank here, which would normally fill 60 kegs, how many of those do you get out of it?
We usually, our batches are split between kegs and casks. So we'll typically make about 6 of these, 7 at the most. But we have accounts that are taking casks right now. Cask is
nice.
Cask is catching on, and having cask on full time and that cool experience, other places want it. So we've got accounts that want to take cask. We've got accounts that do take cask, and it would be really cool if we could be known as, that brewery in North Carolina does cask. Oh, Fortnight.
Right.
I would love that. That would be a lot of fun, because making cask is fun, drinking cask is fun. The whole experience with real beer is fun.
Awesome. Do you ever feel like you're in a zoo?
I
with
do.
The windows?
Actually, my assistant
do
is
they knock on it like a fish tank?
They do. There's been days where I've got 20, 30 people standing at the window staring in. My assistant wants to fling feces at it. I tell him it's against company policy.
But you could change the policy, right?
No. I'm just the head brewer. I can't change policy. That's
feces.
his Stu thing.
It's too much noise.
Yeah.
If it involves habanero peppers, no.
Oh, okay. It doesn't involve habanero peppers.
Was it?
No aardvarks.
No aardvarks.
The aardvarks are important.
Yeah. Well,
is there anything else that you would like to tell our viewers that is helping you guys to stand out? So far, I mean, you guys stand out pretty well as far as the traditional brewery in this area goes. Is there anything besides what you've already told us?
Well, we try to focus on freshness. Your beer is, they always tell you beer is liquid bread.
Right.
And there's nothing truer than that statement.
Well.
It doesn't travel well, and you're not going to go to a bakery and ask for the oldest bread that you can possibly get.
Not usually, no.
No, not usually. And there are beer
But
styles.
you're making croutons, then it's a plus.
That's true.
Yeah.
But there's not many beer styles that age well. There's some that do, the darker beers and things like that, but beer is meant to be drank fresh. And in the UK, the fresher the beer, the better. That's
Right.
why you have local pubs. That's why you have local breweries. And that's something that we want to bring. We want to try to provide the freshest beer in the Triangle. Your beer shouldn't be in a keg for 6-7 months waiting to be
No.
tapped.
Not unless it's like an old ale or barley wine or something.
Exactly, and even then, us at the brewery, we're going to make sure it gets to the point where it's good enough to drink before we even give it to you. So as soon as you get it, it's good to drink. So we want to make sure people know that the local beer is awesome in the Triangle. It's the freshest beer you can possibly get. So don't hold back. Don't age it. Don't sit on it. Enjoy it, because it is fantastic here.
I'm gonna drink these now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, have at it. I mean, that IPA is probably the freshest beer you're ever going to get, because it's right out of the fermenter.
It's still fermenting.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, you're not going to get any fresher than that.
No, but you're not gonna serve still fermenting beer.
Oh no, no.
Yeah, you're gonna wait till it's
I mean, there are
fermented.
certain beer styles that you can serve still fermenting.
Yeah. I always wait till beer's done fermenting. But that could be just me.
Well, I mean, you got to try it at all stages of the fermentation
Oh,
process.
absolutely.
I mean,
I
you
always
gotta,
tell people to taste your beer every time. If you're gonna do anything, rack it, open the fermenter, anything, taste your beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, your
You'll
taste
learn
buds are going
so
to tell
much
you
more about it.
Your taste
Yeah.
buds are going to tell you everything that you need to know.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's not going to tell you the alcohol content or anything like that, like we need for.
You don't really need to know that, and your liver can explain it later.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can explain that to the cops.
Well, I mean, you guys need to know that. Okay, as a home brewer,
Yeah.
I can't. I almost never. I mean, I like to check my original, and I like to check my pre-boil gravity, but I almost never check the final gravity.
When I'm homebrewing, sometimes I don't even check gravity.
Right.
Like if it's just for fun, just for
doesn't
shits,
matter.
I don't care. I
as
will
long
just
as it tastes good.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to professional or small batch or something like this, I always check gravities. We always taste.
You have to deal with regulations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always important to taste everything. Taste your hops. It sucks. It tastes like grass, but you get characteristics out of just tasting your hops too, or even make a tea out of it.
Right. I don't like raw hops.
No,
I don't like the taste of just putting hops in my mouth.
dude, your colon won't know what hit it.
What?
Your colon won't know what hit it. I mean,
No, man.
you need fiber in your diet.
So much better in the beer. It was a real joy talking to you, man.
It's nice talking to you too.
Yeah.